All right. All right. All right. Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Hi-Fi Happy Hour. Okay, we're going to try this. We're actually broadcasting. This is a very... Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. There we go. Hold on a second. Was that you?
I requested to join, and I think you accepted.
I did, but the volume.
Oh, are you not hearing me?
No, I need the volumes. Uh-oh. I don't know if this is going to work. Hold on a second.
I think you need StreamYard volume, not Instagram volume.
Wait. Okay. I know, I'm trying to... I turned off my Instagram volume completely.
I can hear you. I can see you. I don't know if you can hear me and see me.
Can everybody hear me on YouTube? If you can hear me, just type a yes on YouTube, please. Wow, this is going to be really weird.
Daddy-O said, I hear you. Hi-Fi Turtle's buffering.
Is Hi-Fi Turtle buffering or am I buffering?
Oh, I don't know. Ooh, somebody's tuning in from a restaurant.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Okay. We're doing something very different tonight, and I'm going to try to make sure that my brain doesn't split apart in this. Normally, we are on one platform, and that platform is usually YouTube and Facebook through StreamYard. But tonight, because this is a very special announcement, we decided to go on... I've got Instagram Live here, and I've got YouTube here. And before I bring up our special guest, who is already on screen, so that's no secret, I just want to go over a couple of things. So we're going to be interviewing Nicolas Brown, Vice President of Marketing for SVS. And we are announcing the giveaway details. So I know a lot of you are here for that, and that's great. I'm going to try to look back and forth to screens here. Sorry, folks. And before we do that, though, I want to talk a little bit about Hi-Fi Happy Hour. This is a classy joint. Hello, everybody's going to be very classy on Hi-Fi Happy Hour, all right? This is all manners, you know. Yes, exactly. So there's a lot of people that are in various stages of their journey in audio. So what I like to ask everybody is keep it classy. No trolling, no harassment, no sexual harassment, obviously. This is a one strike you're out zone. There are no stupid questions. If you think that it's a stupid question, don't say it. Offer an answer, offer some feedback, right? But don't troll, because I will bounce you out, and people have seen that happen a million times. So that's number one. Number two, yes, the show, the home entertainment show, is happening. Okay, wait, Stephen Nash says echo, echo, echo. Is there an echo? Let's see if there's an echo. We're trying to mitigate this as we go. We may have to bounce out of one or the other. And if we do, then apologies. Oh, no, wait, it sounds like the echo went away. Weird. Okay. The home entertainment show, THE show, is happening June 10th through 12th in Long Beach. Okay. No echo on Insta, but let's see. Is this better? Can anybody hear me? Okay. Hold on, Instagram people. YouTube people, can you hear me? The issue is that I won't be able to hear Nick. We may have to bounce off of... Nick, what would you prefer to do if we have to take one platform? Would you prefer...
It's your happy hour. You pick. Can you hear me, though?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
It's your call. You tell me which one to stay on, and I'm game for either.
Okay. Instagram people, come over to youtube.com/emikomusic. Okay, we're going to go to... This is hysterically funny. And it's a good thing there's alcohol.
It's a happy hour, you know, there's no negativity here.
So I'm just going to... Yes, YouTube people, awesome for you, awesome for you. YouTube, we're all... I'm pointing to the Instagram people. We're all going to YouTube, okay? So youtube.com/emikomusic. And we'll see you there. In the meantime, we're just going to go like that and then go like that. Okay. All right. Now, Hi-Fi Turtle says, for a minute, I thought you figured out how to do all YouTube and Insta via StreamYard. No, I wish, Turtle, but not so much. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on here. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on a second, everybody. I don't understand what just happened. Why is there an echo? I don't hear an echo.
I'm good. I hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me loud and clear?
I'm hearing an echo. I'm desperately trying to. That's weird. Okay. There we go. Let's see if that works. Does that work? Is that better? Was it just me? Okay. All right. In that case, I might go back onto Instagram. No echo. All right. Let's try this again. Nick, aren't you glad you signed on for this one? Isn't this just amazing?
I mean, I like to be a guinea pig. I've always said that.
Well, I've done this before on both, but I didn't have a guest on the last time. Okay, nobody's hearing an echo. That's great. So now we're back live on Instagram. Sorry, everybody. It's Friday. What are we all drinking? I'm just asking the question. I'm having a Colfax Dirty Martini, and we're going to try this again. And I swear if there's an echo, I'm going to throw my phone out the window. Let's see. Let's see what happens. It's fun.
It very well might be coming from my end. I have to mute my mic somehow here, maybe, but I don't want to.
See, now the echo. Right. Let's see.
So if the echo comes back, you know it's my fault because I have.
Yeah, it's back on the phone.
All right. So I don't know how I can mute my Instagram without
not being heard.
Without being heard.
Crazy.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Haven't figured out what to drink yet, is what New York Grasshopper says. Okay. That's all right. We're just gonna deal. So my guest tonight, the reason that we're doing this in two separate feeds is because we are announcing a giveaway that is really special. Glenlivet. Awesome. Okay, well, cheers, everybody. Cheers, cheers, cheers. I need a drink after this one. Holy moly. So the story is this. Am I allowed to talk about, Nick, am I allowed to talk about the acoustics thing?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So it's no secret that I am the video producer and host for the acoustics video series. And a while ago, SVS was kind enough to jump on board as a sponsor of the acoustics video series and a bunch of other stuff that acoustics is doing. Full disclosure. Hi-Fi Happy Hour is not sponsored by SVS. Nick is just a guest because we're announcing this really cool thing that we're doing. But the whole thing started because of acoustics and what we're all doing and the fact that we're all like-minded. And so, Nick, you and I got on a Zoom call and we started talking, and we're going to get to the giveaway through this conversation. I promise everybody, don't worry. And we started talking, and I don't know about you, but I really felt like immediately, hey, here's another like-minded person in audio. Is that
absolutely
a fair assessment?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, there's a lot of positivity that flows from both of us, which I think doesn't always exude from the audio industry. There's some competitiveness, but I also think there's a lot of judgment. It's like, don't buy that, or I mean, I've seen some of the videos that you posted, and you hit on that. So we're not about that. We're all about, what do we say? Rising tide lifts all boats. Like, let's just get people to care about great sound.
Heck yeah. And so with that, and we started talking about how, not everybody can afford $25,000, $15,000, $10,000, $50,000, right? And especially with COVID, things are a little tight for people here and there. Yes, no, maybe so. So we decided to team up to do a very special giveaway. And you want me to read it, or do you want to say it?
It's all you.
Okay, and then
I'll give
we're gonna
details,
get to
but
the,
you can
okay,
you can
good,
kick
good.
it off.
Then we're gonna get to the actual interview, because I know a lot of you wrote to me and y'all were like, I want to enter. Where do I enter? So here's the deal. You're entering for your chance to win a is it $1,200 or $1,300?
13.
Okay, oh, well then I will be fixing that graphic. Don't post the one that I sent you then.
It's okay. $12.99, so we're both right.
Okay. All right. Enter for your chance to win a $1,299 SVS Prime Wireless 2.1 system. Now, the way that you're going to enter is different than the usual SVS giveaway, which is to be on the live stream and then they call out a name, because y'all are in my happy hour lounge now. So I like to put people through a process. I like to interact with people. I like to get to know people. I love to get to know your friends. So here's what you're going to do. Right after the stream is over, in about 55 minutes, a post is going to go up on my Instagram account and on the SVS Instagram account. And what you're going to do to enter the giveaways, you're going to like the post. You're going to follow SVS if you don't already. You're going to follow me if you don't already. Can't believe that that's not happening, because SVS has like 1 million followers. And you can do this on Instagram or you can do this on Facebook. It's open to both, wherever you have have an account. And then you're going to tag a friend in the comments. Now, what's really cool about this is you can tag one friend in the comments and then have another comment and tag another friend and so on and so forth. And so each time you do that, it increases your chances of being chosen, because we're going to choose the winner at random on the, oh gosh, I'm getting old. I can't see very well. On the 8th of April, on Hi-Fi Happy Hour right back here, you must be present on the stream. If we call your name, you must be present in order to win. Otherwise, we move on to the next name. And of course, employees, friends, and family of SVS and of Rose City Media Group and emikomusic are prohibited from entering. And if you do enter, I'm not going to big fat pick you anyway, so it doesn't matter. So with that, wait for the graphic to go up in about 45 minutes, and then enter away. And the more you tag your friends, the more you're increasing your chances of winning. And the winner will be chosen at random by. Wait, we have an issue. Ron G, I'm going to call you out. Not to.
That's not me.
I'm just going to have a drink. Right now. That would be my fiance's phone that he left on the table when I expressly told him that this was happening.
First person who guesses the ringtone wins a compliment from Emiko.
And if
What's
that
the
person
ringtone?
calls back, I'm gonna. Okay, so a couple people don't have Instagram or Facebook, and they are only on YouTube. And so I will say this. I just want to address that, Ron. Thank you for bringing that up. That is something that the SVS team and I talked about. The issue is, while we can open it up, the issue is that some people, as a respect of privacy, they don't like to be shown when they subscribe to a channel. And so the issue that we have is that we can't ask everybody to change their security permissions in order to enter. That just wouldn't be fair. So perhaps in the future, we're not bamboozling anybody here, but perhaps in the future, we will be looking at a way to do a YouTube giveaway that is friendly for YouTubers as well. But for now, it's for Facebook and Instagram. And it's only open to the US and Canada was the other thing, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Now that we're done talking about the giveaway, and good luck, everybody. Really excited to see your entries and to see all the friends that you're going to tag. Can I please get to interviewing Nicolas Brown, Vice President of Marketing from SVS? Am I good to start the interview now, folks? Because everybody's like, I want to win. Okay. So, Nick, thank you so much for coming on Hi-Fi Happy Hour Extra Alcohol edition tonight, apparently. It's a pleasure to have you as my guest.
Well, I'm honored, and I've always said I will never miss a happy hour. There's no bad happy hours, so that alone compelled me to join. But after having you on the SVS audiophile happy hour and hearing you, just provide such interesting insights, I had to be a part of this. So I'm just super excited.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I want to talk. So tonight, just folks, so you understand, we're not going to talk a lot of tech. And the reason we're not going to talk a lot of tech is because tech is covered to death by a lot of people that do it really, really well. It's not that we can't or we won't, but it's just that I think because we're like-minded in our aims for hi-fi and audio and entertainment, I think what's important is more having a conversation, an honest conversation about the state of the industry, the state of the community, and how SVS has such a pivotal and critical role in that, because your brand is an industry leader in this, in terms of marketing, in terms of outreach, in terms of inclusivity. One of the big things that I've seen, like when I was on your audiophile happy hour stream, there were a lot of women. And that's the first thing that I want to say. It's not just that there were a lot of women, there were also a lot of people from all over the world that were tuning in. And I thought that was so cool. So can you, first of all, tell us what you think makes SVS so attractive is the wrong word, but no, yeah, attractive, magnetic to all people?
First of all, I feel like this has been a mission of ours. For one, like, there's this mentality that we have where we don't like to play into the stereotypes. There's words out there that get thrown around a lot. Words like wife, or terms like wife acceptance factor, man cave. These terms that sort of stigmatize this hobby as something that's male dominated. And, if you look at demographic information as far as like our marketing statistics, yes, there's certainly a higher than 50%, customer base and people who visit our website. And, I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of marketing statistics, but yes, it is, there's a higher percentage of males who are purchasing and researching this type of thing. But we never wanted to sort of play into that. We always wanted to be, like you said, more inclusive in the sense that it's more about passion for sound, enjoying music, movies, TV, video games, whatever it is, to the extent that you just want to get a better experience. And so it has nothing to do with your gender. It has to do with a desire or an aspiration to hear and to feel and to kind of get just that extra immersive experience that you wouldn't get from your TV speakers or even like a cheap soundbar. And I think what we've tried to do is cultivate a community and, build a culture around that, not necessarily like, who's our target customer, but play off the passions. And if you happen to be female or you happen to be male, that's great. But it's more about, playing off the, I love this kind of music, or I want to hear and feel this bass note really drop in my home like I do at a live concert. And especially with the pandemic, like people weren't getting those live experiences. So we really have just really doubled down on sort of playing up in terms of those entertainment experiences, but then also just being much more approachable. Like we try to communicate with people on whatever mediums they want to communicate, whether it's email, chat, social. It's like we're out there and we put ourselves out there and we're responsive. And I think those are the things that have sort of endeared us to a broader demographic than some of the other audio brands out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing for me that I saw, and those that know me know that I'm, I come from the pro side of the music industry. You have an artist roster too. Like you've got a section on your website of people that I know that I'm friends with that use SVS, not just in their home integrated systems, but professionally as well. And that's something that I was so thrilled to see, because my 3000 micro is going in my studio before it starts going into my hi-fi setup, because I want to see how it works from the pro side. And so do you find that a lot of your customer base is musically inclined, like creatively musically inclined, or are they mostly folks that are, just hi-fi and entertainment enthusiasts?
So we have a very diverse group, which is what I love about what I do for SVS, because I get to interact with all of these different people. And, you started talking about the pro side, and there's a couple different factors that play into that. For one, if you look at the pro market and, the sort of growth of home studios and people who are mixing and mastering in a space within their own home, A lot of the professional subwoofers and monitors that are available, they're either really expensive or they're not built for that sort of more compact setting. And so I think a brand like SVS and some of the products that we're making have sort of, built a little bit of niche within that, especially our subwoofers, because, they're just, the pro versions are, I'll just be blunt, they're a lot more expensive. Some of them are just massive. Like you can't have them in a little, 10 by 10 studio. And, they are clinically accurate, but they don't provide that sort of emotional impact that I think a lot of people who are doing mixing and mastering want to get. And
Sure.
so when they get, excuse me, like one of our subwoofers, they get the sort of passion that we put into it, and they're able to hear the full, spectrum of sound from, 18 hertz all the way up to, whatever they're mixing on their high frequencies in their monitors.
Sure.
And they get a realistic version of that. And that's really the goal. It's like, if you're going to release a piece of content, you want to know how it's going to sound throughout every octave. And if you don't have a quality subwoofer that can go down to that level where you're actually feeling the bass, then you're missing out on what the person at home is going to experience. So I think that's part of why our subwoofers have been embraced so much by the pro community. Is one, the price factor has certainly made them more attractive. Sure. And then also they provide that accurate experience, but also a little bit more of the passion and the sort of emotional impact that you're trying to create when you're making music or mixing a soundtrack for a movie. And so that's one side of it. And then you'll have to jog my memory on the second part of your question, because there was a two-part there and I got a little off track there.
Oh, just how many people have you found in your experience that have SVS are music creators versus music enthusiasts?
Yeah, so I would say the majority of people who are investing in a SVS subwoofer speaker, it's music first, and then there's a lot of home theater fans out there as well. And that's why it's kind of interesting that we have like 14 different models of subwoofer, because there are certain ones that I think people really think of as more musical subwoofers. You mentioned the 3000 micro and a lot of our sealed box subwoofers. And they're more compact, and they definitely deliver a more accurate, quicker transient response. So they're a little bit more musical. And then the ported subwoofers are certainly, they give you that sort of big chest thumping output. They really move a lot of air within the room, so you get that sort of visceral experience. But we've really tried to narrow that delta between the sealed and ported subwoofer experience. But in general, like we just try not to create niches. Like it's not like this subwoofer is only good for this speaker is only good for that. We try to make products that, the word that you used earlier, are inclusive. Whether you're a music fan, a movie fan, or using it 50-50, or maybe it's primarily for like a desktop gaming system, and you want to just ditch the headphones and get like a more punchy experience that you can feel like sort of throughout your body. Like I love when I hear people talking about like a pants flapping experience, like their subwoofers going so hard. It's like they feel like a mouse ran by their ankle. And it's like, I love that, because it's like a level of immersion that you don't get from putting on a pair of headphones. So, we try not to really qualify any of our products as being like perfect for this or perfect for that. And I think that's kind of why people in the pro industry have embraced them, because one of the challenges, I'm sure is to create a sound that is going to be great, whether you're listening to it on like a $10 pair of earbuds, or you have some vendor $1,500 speakers or whatever they are, or a really high-end system. You want it to sound great on that too. And our speakers are super accurate and very transparent, and they allow you to sort of make that judgment and create music, movies, and sound that really is faithful to what you're trying to accomplish.
I dig it. I want to know from you. I don't know if you've seen this, but it is no. Before I ask you that question, New York Grasshopper has a good question for. I think this is probably. Not beginner, but for people that are new to audio who are looking to expand their system. They wrote, what can we watch out for when getting a subwoofer? So what are things that you would advise people look for? That's a great question.
It is a really great question. And there's 5 things, and I'm going to go through them quickly. If my CEO is here, he takes about half an hour to get through the 5, but I'm going to do it in about a minute and a half, hopefully.
Okay.
So the 5 things you really want to listen for are, and this is just purely sound. There's obviously size and there's other things and price that you have to factor in. But if you're just purely basing it on the sound of the subwoofer, you want to make sure the subwoofer can play as loud as you want it to play, accurately. Like it has to be able to hit that, SPL level, sound pressure level, that really sort of like gets you excited and you can feel it. And some people like a more moderate listening experience, but some people really like to crank it. So make sure it can play as loud as you want and remain accurate and distortion free. Second of all, you want to go as low as possible. So 20 hertz is sort of that magical number where you start feeling the bass, and that's sort of a really, like I said, a magical number. So it's got to play low to the point of almost being like guttural. It has to have crisp transient speed. So like be able to stop and start on your dime. So it's not muddy. It's not bloated. It's not, doing anything that would actually distort the overall music. And it has to blend seamlessly with your full range speakers. So, basically, a great subwoofer should sound like an extension of your speakers, whether it's a 2-channel system or a 5-channel. Like it should be sounding like it's making bass for all of the speakers, not like localized, like, oh, that's where the subwoofer is. I can hear the bass coming from that corner or that part of the room. It should sound like literally it's providing bass for all of the speakers. And, when you have those 4 things, it really makes such a huge difference in terms of choosing the subwoofer. And whether that's an SVS subwoofer or not, it's really going to be the right one for you based on your listening preferences. And then, like I said, there's a lot of other things that come into play, like your room. You have a massive room. You're probably not going to be looking for like a micro subwoofer. You're going to want a larger ported subwoofer. You really want to energize that space. So, those are the time. The 5th is sort of a bunch of different variables that come into play: budget, room size, listening preferences. Whether you're using it primarily for music or movies. But if you find a subwoofer that can play as loud as you want, as low as you want, it's got that crisp transient speed, and it blends seamlessly with your speakers, then, whether it's an SVS or not, it's going to be the right one for you.
So that's an interesting, I want to so 2 things. First of all, blending is extremely important. And I just want to say this from the pro audio side of things, like a good friend of mine who's a multi-Grammy award winning producer told me once, the best piece of advice I've ever gotten. He said, we spend so much time in front of a computer screen mixing with our eyes. You have to be able to go like this. And the same I found with subs and with speakers, especially with surround or now with Atmos systems. It's like, if you can see it, you need to be able to blindly feel it, right? And I feel like that's just something that SVS has gotten down, I don't want to say to a science, but that sort of sterilizes it. You've made an art form out of it, really, I think.
The app was a huge part of that. Like we have this Bluetooth smartphone app that allows you to really dial it in, with phase, polarity, but also a parametric EQ. So if you want to bring in REW software, take measurements around your room, get rid of those, peaks and nulls where like this area, it sounds really boomy, but this area, it sounds like there's no bass. Like there's a lot of science that goes into this. And there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that go super in depth in terms of like making sure that you can even that bass response throughout your room. And I highly encourage people, if you're going to invest a lot in a subwoofer, it's worth it to get one of those softwares, use the app, take some room measurements with the mic, get it dialed in right early on. And it makes such a difference because, if you're, like I said, if you're going to invest in it, you might as well have that visceral feeling throughout the room because of like, I'm sitting here and it sounds great. And then, my partner's sitting over there and it's like, well, I'm not getting that same experience. Then, what are you really doing? So I highly encourage people, if you were going to go that far into it, then, take that extra step. And there's a lot of resources out there that can get you there. But, the app has been great in terms of, giving people that extra level of calibration. But the subwoofers themselves, they blend really well with any kind of speakers. They have to be quick enough for like electrostats, but also, a brighter speaker. They just lend themselves well because they're so accurate. They don't add their own sort of boomy, like bloated signature. It's very much in tune with the frequency response of what the source material is.
Right. Now, I have not hooked up my 3000 micro to my Eggleston Works Osos. There they are. Say hi, ladies. And I did have this really interesting exchange with a couple of people, and we were all kind of wondering, like, so the Osos are famous for having side firing woofers. And a couple of people did write to me and said, well, do you really need a sub for that? And the truth is that I didn't have a proper answer. I thought, oh, I'm going to wait till I talk to Nick about this, because this is an interesting conversation to embark upon.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on like how you think it'll blend with the side firing woofers?
So, I mean, they will blend great, but it comes down to your desire for how much bass you want and how much impact you really want to feel. You know, if you have two, 6 or 8 inch, like our SVS Ultra Towers have two side opposing 8-inch woofers, and they provide great bass down to about 32 hertz or so. Mm-hmm. But if you're watching an action movie and you want to feel like you're getting punched in the chest when that explosion happens, or if you're, a big EDM fan and you want to hear that bass drop to the point where like literally your walls feel like they're flexing or the room is breathing, then you need a subwoofer, like a speaker. Like it just can't move enough air, even if they have dual opposing woofers. Right. And if you get a subwoofer, especially a sealed one that's quick enough to keep up with, some of these, speakers that have really quick transient bass, then it's only going to emphasize that experience. It's going to inject more energy into the room. It's going to let you feel your music and movies a little bit more. So it's really a matter of like where you want to take it. And, it's funny. We have people who have, 12 by 12 rooms, and they're like, I want dual PB16s, which is our biggest subwoofer. We're like, that's way too much than you would ever need.
So they want to get like
destroy your house. Like you're going to have so much headroom, like you're never going to use, but like, no, I'm such a ridiculous bass head. I want to be able to like literally shake the pictures off my walls. And we're talking people down from that, because like you can still get that experience without, the biggest subwoofer possible. But there's some people who just desire that. And if that's what you're aspiring to, then, more power to you. But if you just want sort of a nice, rhythmic beat and you want to feel it and get a little chest punch, the speakers might be just fine, but it's all a matter of preference at that point, where, whether it's what you're listening to or how loud and how low you like it to go. That's where the subwoofer really can add that extra emphasis.
Well, I'm excited. I mean, I am going to hook it up first in my studio, but I'm excited to bring it home to the Eggleston Works, because the Osos really replicate drums exquisitely. And so for me, I'm going to want to hear the balance between the kick drum and the bass. And so this is going to be really, really, and of course I'm going to make a ton of videos about this. And I'm really excited because this is a brand new experience for me. And it's rare for me to have totally new experiences with no background knowledge on it. And so this is something that I'm really looking forward to. Sorry, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say, when you're talking about hi-fi and audiophile culture specifically, I think there's a lot of people who are very obsessed with like that accuracy. Like there's still a lingering mentality that subwoofers can sort of slow down or muddy up the soundstage, because speakers, especially audiophile speakers, are very quick and they're just accurate and they just like clinical in their ability to render, like you said, a snap drum or something like that. And if a subwoofer's like bloated or somehow taking away from that, then it's viewed as a negative. But I think you'll enjoy the 3000 micro. I think you're going to get a little bit more energy and a little bit more percussion in terms of what you feel, but you're not going to feel any sort of lack in sort of, again, that snappiness, that transient response and speed that you really like.
Well, I'm really I don't know what the word is, not apprehensive, but I'm eagerly awaiting what happens when I turn in some mixes over the weekend once I hook this up in my studio, because now I know that when I send the mixes in back to the directors and the music supervisors and the producers, they don't have the system that I have. And so I'm just wondering, like, this is going to change the way that I mix from now on. And I know that, but I'm excited to see what the feedback is. I'm excited to see if that dimension and that extra is going to translate for them, right? Because of where I'm sitting and how I've set things up. But we'll see. We'll see. I am curious to know. I have not been able to get a straight answer out of anybody, and I'm not putting you in the hot seat. And if you don't have a suggestion, that's okay. But I want to ask, because you're very knowledgeable on these things, and I know that you recommend using the Bluetooth app that comes with the sub. But you have to have a microphone. I mean, you should have a microphone when you're testing out your room. What type of microphone do you recommend? Because there's a million, right? I mean, there's a million that you can choose from. And so which mic do you feel works best for this?
So the UMIC, like I've heard, and our what we call our sound experts are. Well, I think our Instagram just cut out. I don't know what happened there, but my.
You're kind of frozen.
Oh, I think I might be back. I don't know. Yeah, so I think the UMIC mics are really good, and I would go with whoever, like the REW. They have a bunch of recommendations as far as some more budget-oriented ones go. So I would trust their feedback as far as choosing a mic. As far as like room correction, we've had great experience just with the Denon, what they provide out of the box for their either ARC or the calibration software they provide. They're just fine. Do you want me to try to join this? Because I can join on the I don't know what quite happened here, but
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, everybody on Instagram is going, "Oh no, shit! What happened?"
It was working fine, and then all of a sudden, I didn't touch anything. I swear. Let's see.
Well, let's see what happens. We're trying to make this. Aaron Robbins says, "Damn, I missed the first half hour." Aaron Robbins, don't worry. It was a lot of us trying to fix an echo because tonight we're trying to get this going here on YouTube, and then we've got a separate stream on Instagram, and they have to go separately. So the first 15 minutes was both of us sort of running around like chickens with the head cut off.
So I don't know if you can invite me or not.
Let me see here. If I can't, I just turned off my own camera.
I would trust the UMIC, or whatever REW, whatever they're recommending for microphones. Brands I'm not really familiar with. I traditionally just use the mic out of my Denon receiver, run the room correction, and then I'll make light calibrations after the fact to either slightly boost the gain or bring it back. I actually don't do a lot of that. Oh, I see the invite. Let's see.
There we go.
Back?
All right.
Okay,
we're back. We're back. Sorry, folks, on Instagram about that. We're guinea pigging tonight, sort of. Okay, so that's good to know. Now, can people find these recommendations on your website?
Not for microphones. Like we're very sort of agnostic when it comes to like recommending other brands. Although the one sort of receiver that we sort of like is Denon and Marantz. We feel like they have phenomenal sound quality as far as AV receivers go. But when it comes to mics, like I think they're pretty forgiving. And if people have recommendations, then I would absolutely encourage you to put them out here in the in the comments. But we don't have specific ones that we use other than the UMIC software and the REW. Like those are the sort of gold standards when it comes to really getting in depth in the room calibration.
Okay. Well, a buddy of mine, I'm assuming Barnabas, I'm assuming it's you, because it just says Facebook user. Somebody's tuning in from Facebook, and I think if it is him, a friend of mine is a very famous studio designer in New York, although he recently moved to Nashville to do this. And he says the best measurement mics are Earthworks. They're used by the USGS to measure earthquakes.
Okay.
So
they have to be pretty sensitive, I would imagine.
Take it from a guy who built a famous recording studio that housed George Gershwin's piano in a bomb shelter in New York City, 30 feet underground. He'll know. So Earthworks, everybody. And no, we're not sponsored by Earthworks. I'm just saying this is a recommendation from a professional engineer.
Although if they're listening, no.
Right. I'm just saying, I mean, hey, I'm available. Right. Exactly. I want to talk to you for a minute about culture, Nick, because SVS culture is so supportive. When I was on your audiophile happy hour, I didn't really see, I mean, there was like maybe one person who was kind of semi-trolly, but out of the thousands, I mean, literally thousands of comments, there was like one person. How have you and your team managed to cultivate such a positive culture, such a an encouraging and informed culture? Who's always, I saw the comments, people are sharing ideas and they're asking questions in like a sub chat, and nobody is crapping on anybody else. Everybody's lifting everybody up. I mean, how have you managed to arrange this through your outreach?
So I think that it comes down to sort of three values that we really like cherish when it comes to, how we engage with our community. One of those is passion. Like us on the happy hour, we all love music, we love movies, and then we love them to sound as good as possible. And all of us walk the walk and talk the talk. We might not be the biggest geeks in terms of like going down the rabbit hole of like we were just talking about measurement software and like sitting around and trying to measure it all, but I have a 5.2.4 system in my basement and I love it. And it's that just engaging immersive experience where like I feel the bass, I get the overhead effects. It's like I just really enjoy that. So passion's one side of it, education's the other one. I feel like there's been this sort of, like I was saying before, the stigma where you're not, a lot of the industry is not trying to educate you to make the right decision. They're trying to just bully you into like buy this or buy that because that's what I bought. And it's like, well, I did it right. So if you do anything other than that, then you're wrong. And we step shy away from that. We give you knowledge that allows you to make decisions. And if you choose SVS, phenomenal. And we make products that we think are, phenomenal performance, especially for the price, but, even just in general, like world-class products. And that's really what we're trying to do from the design side, but it's a passion for building phenomenal audio products, but also a passion for, educating people and getting, the knowledge out there. So people can understand that, this hobby is not just about sort of this experience where you sit by yourself in between two speakers, close your eyes, and like you hear the voice of God. It can be social. It can be something that you invite your friends over and get them interested in. Right. It can be something where like your kids are like finally quiet because like you put on a movie where they're like so entranced by the sound. So like whatever that means to you, video games, like it's something that you can really enjoy. So there's the education part, and I sort of bled that into the passion part as well, because like we're all just about this. And I think it comes across to people that, we have this, we never stop learning. We have this thirst for knowledge. We're passionate about what we're talking about, the products we're building. And, that gets manifested on our social media and in our newsletters and in the reviews that get posted about us, because we're so excited about what we're doing and the experiences that we can create for other people. And then we're seeing it come back to us from, customer reviews and things like that we try to put that out there too. So, there's times where we take a lot of what we see from our community and we put it back out to our community. And I feel like a lot of our industry is about cultivating this like perfect picture of what a system should look like. And like, it can only be like this. And it has to be like in a, gorgeous room on a, penthouse, whatever. And it's like, that's not always what it looks like. Sometimes you are in your mom's basement and you have this phenomenal, 5.1 setup. It doesn't look great. There's some cables showing, and that's okay because it sounds awesome. And when you turn the lights out and the movie goes on, that's cool. And you love it. And that's really what it should be about. Like, don't let anyone tell you like, oh, you got to hide those wires. Like, I'm sorry, I have cement walls. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can put up some, conduits and like try to hide them. But like, again, I'm turning the lights out. I got my couch that I had in college and I'm watching this movie. As long as you care about sound, that's all we care about. So like, who am I to judge you for, having some wires showing? So, I think that's part of it. It's just, there's no judgment. There's no like, making you seem like you're doing something wrong. And, there's still always going to be people out there who, share their opinions, and that's great. Like if it's in a way that's trying to help people improve their experience, then we're all about it. But if you're trying to tell somebody or like tear them down, I think me and you have a very similar mentality on that. It's like not helpful to the industry. And we went through a long phase where with the forums and some of the other places, it's just like you felt like you couldn't get help because you were just being judged, or like you couldn't get a straight answer because it was like all filled with sort of personal opinions. And we're really just trying to bring the fun back, like have fun with it. Like whether that means, starting with the 2-channel system and having wires all over the place and whatever, like, dude, if you're enjoying the sound, like that's all that matters. So I feel like those are the passion, the fun, and the education, like go hand in hand. And we've really tried to cultivate a community around that. And the audiophile happy hours have sort of been the like cherry that really brought that into fruition because of, the pandemic. basically like
Yeah.
forced us, because we were doing that live, but now, with some of our dealers. But then when that happened, we did it in the virtual realm, and it just sort of took off. So it's been awesome, and I've been a little shocked at how well it's been received by our community.
It's amazing how much this type of human interaction unites people, and then you get onto the forums and people are tearing each other apart like wild rabid dogs. It's pretty crazy. Ron G just wrote a nice comment. Nick described those aspects of culture accurately. It's what keeps me coming back to the SVS happy hour over and over. No sense of anyone being a quote know-it-all, just people that enjoy great sound. That's really lovely, Ron. Thank you for sharing that and for saying that about Nick and SVS, because it's true. It's true. It's true. And Aaron Robbins says that he's learned a lot. I'm assuming Aaron is a gentleman. I'll just say they. I've learned a lot watching SVS happy hour. So that's cool. It's very educational, and it is. It's so low key and conversational and just very organic that it's easy.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even trying to like compel you to buy SVS products. Sure, we'll throw some plugs in for like, oh yeah, you want a great Dolby Atmos speaker, Prime Elevation is great for that. But like, we're not shilling. It's like, here's the knowledge. You have personal tastes. We understand that. Maybe SVS is right for you. Maybe it's not. But like, here's the knowledge that will help you make that decision.
Right. Well, now Jerome Howard has written something that I want to read out because it's going to lead me to the next thing. So Jerome, well done. He said, I got to meet the SVS crew when you came to Portland, Oregon in 2019. Look forward to in-person events returning someday. So with that, I told you that I'll tell you what the topics are, but not what the questions are. Am I allowed to say anything about the other thing that you and I were talking about?
Live experiences wise, you mean? As far as shows go?
Yeah, the TNT stuff.
Yeah, fire away.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, fire away.
Great. I don't know, because we hadn't really said that, but since people are talking about live events, so the home entertainment show it's no secret. I'm senior vice president of marketing, biz dev for the show, and we have been trying, hopefully successfully, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, to get SVS to come and exhibit at the show in Long Beach in June, and to do a really creative, immersive music and home theater, home entertainment exhibit. Is that a fair and accurate way to describe it? Question mark.
Yes, I think that's great. The goal is to bring, like you said, an immersive multi-channel experience where you get the Dolby Atmos height effects, you get the full surround sound experience, but we also want to bring wireless audio in a 2-channel, since I know, it's traditionally been a stereo-centric show where, it's very much music focused. So we'll bring some of that as well, but in the wireless realm with, some exciting products that we have coming. But, we also want to provide sort of a little break from, the Eagles Hotel California, Diana Krall, like here's some, cool tracks you can sort of heard a million times. And like, now let's watch some Mad Max and Tron and, James Bond films and get that sort of secondary, like experience that you don't necessarily get from a traditionally hi-fi show. So we're super excited, and we don't get to California enough. We're based in Ohio. We've done an event in Portland. We've done an event near San Diego, but we don't get to the West Coast enough. And I just think what you are doing with the home entertainment show is phenomenal. And I think the world needs more audio shows because it gets people to really, get excited about sound quality. But they need brands like us to be there in order to show that there are inclusive systems out there that you can have. And it's not sort of always something that you have to, you can tell I'm tap dancing a little here. Like it's something that you can, you can start at a certain place and get to a certain place, or you can find your end game in the first system you buy. But like, it's a wide open field there. And, one of the things that I don't think gets talked about enough as far as high performance audio is just the longevity of it. We have so much disposable technology these days. Yeah. You buy a smartphone for $1,000 and you throw it away in 2 years and get a new one. Right. Great pair of speakers. They're going to last you 10, 15 years. And I think people don't necessarily understand that. And when you interact with them on a daily basis and you understand the value of really hearing and feeling and getting the full essence of what your music and movies and TV can provide,
Right.
it's like a you can never go back kind of scenario. And yes, there is upgrade-itis. I get it. Like, I want a more powerful amp. I want a bigger subwoofer. I want this. And that's part of the fun of the hobby. Like, that's what's great. And it's healthy. So I just want more people to learn about that. And I feel like the more brands, whether they're entry level or whether they're the super high end, when they do these kinds of shows, they get people to experience it in person. And that's what we're really all about, the art of the demo. Like, feel it, hear it, experience it in person. And then you can kind of get an understanding what it's all about and make your own decisions. So that's a long, long-winded way of saying we're super excited. We're going to bring a cool, immersive multi-channel experience and some wireless 2-channel, and we're going to just have a lot of fun.
So I guess that means SVS is officially coming to the show.
So I've heard, June 10th through 12th.
Hey, Mazel Tov. That makes me so excited. That makes everybody west of the Mississippi really excited. Probably east of the Mississippi too. Somebody had mentioned, I don't want to scroll back up to find it, but somebody had mentioned that the SVS brand loyalty and enthusiasm is second to or on par with that of like the Klipsch fanatics that are just like, Klipsch, ah! And I do want to ask you this. I know we're going to stop around 10 your time, but in hi-fi, in high-end audio specifically, like in the audiophile world, when a company gets, I've seen this, when a company gets too big and it reaches too many people, all of a sudden, oh no, they must have sold out. Their stuff is crap. They must be cutting corners. It's too accessible. So, but what's interesting about SVS is, well, obviously it's not crap. It's not any of those things other than it is accessible. It's inclusive. And yet I have seen everybody from a beginner music lover enthusiast all the way to the most seasoned audiophiles go absolutely nuts for SVS. Why do you think it is that SVS has not taken that, has not been thrown off the cliff, as it were, the way that so many other companies have when they've reached sort of a zenith moment in their popularity? Like, you guys are solid with that.
I don't want to like seem like I'm pandering to my boss here, but it really starts from the top. Like you were on the audiophile happy hour with Gary Yakubian. Yeah. He's our CEO and president. And between us and some of our senior leadership, we breed that culture. We will not accept a company that's just sort of going through the motions, like we've hit a certain number or like we're at this growth or whatever, and like just now we can sort of coast. Like, we have the same values we had when we were building subwoofers in a garage in Youngstown, Ohio. And our office is still in Youngstown, Ohio, which is a very blue collar city. And we all like we're sort of virtual in the sense that some of us work remote, but we all get back there at least 4 times a year. We have these meetings and these team meetings where we're all sort of collaborating, and it really starts from him because like he's very hands-on. It's very much about like, this is where we started. We're not going to deviate from this approach to customer service. And actually, that's been the fastest growing or fastest part of our business in terms of growth, in terms of our employees, is the customer service. Because as we grow, we want to make sure, we call them our sound experts. I know it's kind of corny, but like our SVS sound experts, like that's what they are. They're not people that you call where it's like you wait online for like whatever 10 minutes and then they're like trying to get you off the phone. Like, they will sit with you and walk through every single setting on your AV receiver. And I think that's part of where it comes from, where it starts, is like, I see that as a marketing person, that our customer service people are that dedicated, and it makes me want to sort of follow suit. And then our sales team sees that, and they work with dealers, and they tell our dealers, like, this is part of our culture. So, we expect you to sort of maintain that same level of, attention to detail and really helping people. And then we will never leave anyone hanging. Like, we have what's called, again, our customer bill of rights. I don't want it to be corny, but like, we have these things that we've created that are really about a total experience, not just like, I got speakers, they sound great. It's like, you buy into SVS and you have the ability to trade up and get a better one if you don't think it's great enough for you. Free shipping, all of these different little policies, 45-day trial, these things that allow you to experience our brand and become sort of a part of our community, where you never feel like you're left out, or we're not taking care of you. And I think that's part of what has allowed us to scale up and grow, but not lose sight of where we came from. And I don't know that exists in a lot of any businesses out there that grow to a point like that. They always sort of lose track. And of course it's going to have to be something where you broaden your perspective and you have to like take certain areas and become more efficient. But when it comes down to it, like all of those cultural sort of things that I just mentioned still hold true, and we never want to lose sight of it. And the other part of it too is like we've had phenomenal continuity with our employee base. Like I work with the same people I worked with 12 years ago, from customer service to operations to sales, and like that kind of continuity really helps a brand grow and scale in a way that remains true to their roots. And I think our community backs us up on that. People might say, I didn't have a great experience. It's like, well, just contact their customer service. They'll take care of you. Then they do. And then we do. And I think that's just part of it. So, I don't want to go too far, like, drinking the Kool-Aid here, but like, I love being a part of a company, because I came from a PR agency that was repping SVS. And I was like, I worked for a lot of different brands that didn't get it. And I was like, this company gets it. And then when I had the opportunity to join them, it was a great day, and I feel like we've like continued to deliver on that promise from that first day that I worked here.
That's amazing. I have to tell you, while you were speaking of this on Instagram, the comment section was lighting. I mean, people talking about how the customer service is phenomenal. Then on YouTube, people are saying how SVS puts customers on a pedestal. Somebody on Instagram said, I get better service from I don't want to go into Best Buy anymore. I just call SVS directly. Like, I don't want to deal with my locals. I'm just going to call them up on the phone and they'll fix. Like, it's amazing how much your people love your company. And it's a beautiful thing. And so with that, I want to ask possibly the final question, maybe the second to last final question.
We could riff.
What do you think? What would you like to see, like industry to industry, right? Like, what do you think we should do? Because you know me, I'm a big, like, we got to take responsibility to get out there and build this and like raise the barn and make it happen. What do you think we can do and should be doing as an industry to secure hi-fi, home entertainment, audio, home theater for the next generation?
I mean, on a macro level, in sort of in my marketing mind, I'm like, make it more fun. Make it less about like my unicorn hair, connections and blah, blah, blah. Like, this technology is so much superior to that version that like, I can hear God through my speakers. You can't hear crap from that. Like just make it more about the experience and the fun and why it's better than TV speakers or a sound. Sound bars are great. They're a step up. They're sort of a gateway, but like really engaging people on that full immersive experience, whatever that means to you, whether it's like chest thumping bass or whether it's overhead Dolby Atmos effects or whether it's even like a, premium pair of headphones. And, I think we're seeing it with a lot of these streaming services now. They have spatial audio with Apple. They have, Amazon HD has got their own version of it. And really keying into the content as one part of it, but just like the fun aspect and like just letting people know that, there's so much out there for them to experience and that they're missing out on the experiences with their favorite content if they're not, investing in a decent, and it doesn't even have to be hi-fi. It can just be like a step up. This is all like a gradual hobby-based approach here. And I think if that sort of mentality permeates out a little bit further, where now people are thinking about audio as much as they are about like a big screen TV, then it becomes so much more powerful for all of the brands in here. That whole, rising tide lifts all ships. Like, that's what we're trying to do. And again, I've said it multiple times. It's not all about selling SVS. It's about building this hobby, building this culture around sound being cool. Because like being an audiophile, like you remember the old Maxiel ad where the dude was sitting there and his hair was getting blown back and he had the big speaker. Like, that was cool. And then we got to a point where it was like so judgmental, and it was like, you know, a crusty old man sitting in his basement by himself between two speakers, like in a perfect equilateral triangle with his eyes closed. And like, that's not cool. And
Right.
like somehow we've got to get that back. And so I think, you know, I'm being very sort of, you know, black and white here, but I feel like, you know, there's, especially with the younger generation, and I have a 17-year-old, and they do care about sound quality now because of what some of these high-res streaming services are doing.
Right.
They just haven't necessarily done the math that they can have that as like a, not just in their headphones, like they can have that experience outside of a, you know, a wireless mono speaker or a Bluetooth speaker. And I think the better job we can do of communicating what that means, and that it's not, you know, wiring a speaker system is not like wiring an electrical system in your house. It's like pretty simple, like destigmatize some of the, you know, where people think it's a lot more complicated than it is. Then I think those factors will really help this hobby get to the next level. And then I think the wireless side of it is going to absolutely play a huge role too. I mean, I think what Sonos has done is really big, but a lot of brands can sort of learn from what they've done and, you know, provide solutions that people desire. And then that's a gateway to you know, even better systems.
I dig it. Nick Brown, I'm looking forward to seeing you in June.
I wish you were going to Expona. But that's right. I didn't.
No. I do too. I normally make my rounds at the shows, but because of COVID and because this year we're making this huge push with the show expanding to Denver and Nashville and New Orleans and Phoenix.
Oh, I get it.
Like, I am tied to my desk chair, just going like this every day.
We are so excited to get out to the West Coast. Yes, we are so excited to get out there. We're going to have an awesome system. We will be at Expona. If I can plug our next audiophile happy hour, do you mind?
Yeah, please do. Please do. Absolutely.
Okay. March 31st. That's a Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to have a cool pro audio guest. So we'll have some fun, 4 giveaways. So tune into that if you get a chance. And, you know, I think this was a lot of fun. I think what you're doing is just phenomenal. It's what the industry needs. And, you know, I'm just so happy to be a part of this.
Well, I am so grateful to be connected to you, and thank you for coming on my humble show, and thank you for not leaving when the echoes started happening. I don't know what that was, but I think we got it sorted, everybody, because normally we don't do it on 2 platforms. It's only on 1, but because of the giveaway thing, this was a very special thing. So I'm going to fix the price on the graphic and send it to you. We'll post that graphic right up. Right after we're done. I know you've got a hard stop now. So thank you so much, Nick. Really, really appreciate it. Yes, Ranji will be in New Orleans. Private message me for details on the show stuff. And stay tuned next week when my guest is none other than award-winning producer and sound recordist Cookie Marenko of Blue Coast Records. The week after that is Adam Somer of Somer and Associates. They rep Hi-Fi Man, Polk Audio, Emotiva. The list is long, and you're gonna want
one of the best PR guys out there, coming from a PR guy. Adam's legit.
Adam is dope, man. He's a great guy. Really.
Can I just say thank you to all of your fans and followers and all of the SVS people who tuned in today? You guys are awesome. I love the comments. It's so rewarding to see the energy and the activity that you guys provide. It's awesome. I just love it.
It is mathematically. I will say this. There's a lot of gratitude from me as well, because mathematically it's showing that the trolls on the forums are outnumbered by the people here spreading the love, spreading the good vibes, spreading high fidelity vibes, as my friend Scotty Lylander says. That's the name of his show. And like, just positivity, and music is love, love is music. And we're all spreading that around to each other. And that's just so awesome. So anyway, thank you everybody so much for, joining. I'm looking at Instagram. Now I'm looking at YouTube. I'm having to go to 2 places. And stay tuned. You can hop on the SVS Instagram or Facebook page, or my That Hi-Fi Girl Instagram or Facebook page shortly. And the post will be up, and the giveaway will officially begin as soon as the post is up. And we'll see you on the flip side. Thank you everybody for watching. Have a good night.
Cheers.
Cheers.